A few weeks ago, I launched a brand new collection selling Suncatcher Jewelry in the quietest period of the year. I'm going to show you exactly what I did step by step, and I'm also going to show you how well it did on its launch. So if you feel like you have no idea how to launch a new product or a new collection, and you've probably launched a product or new collection before, but you don't feel like it did as well as it probably could, because you didn't know exactly what you should do, like in the step-by-step process. Well, I would love to show you exactly what I do every time I have a new idea or a new product or a new collection, and how I take that from an idea to the product and then to an actual launching marketing strategy, so that I get views on my new product or collection and also get sales. So if this is something that you would love to know, how to launch your handmade product in a very small handmade business, then keep watching, because I'm going to show you everything that I do. And if you love videos like this, please subscribe, because I'm making videos like this every single week on this channel. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Becky and I run my own handmade business, Veneer Creations, and I have done now for about 8 years, and that is just with me and my other team member, which is Sam. And I purposely keep my business like a small handmade business because I love the work-life balance that it brings to my life and the freedom that it brings to me. And in this little business of mine, I have launched so many different ideas and so many different products, and some of them have worked and some of them haven't worked so well. But I'd love to show you exactly what I do each time that I launch a new product, a new idea, or a new collection. And so you don't give up at the first hurdle, because I do see that a lot of people do that. I do see so many other handmade businesses like feel like they can't do it, or they give up just after posting like one post about their product, or feeling like they just don't know what to do. So they feel like, oh, well, I don't have a clue what I'm doing, so I'm just going to give up. And this kind of self-doubt and imposter syndrome is what a lot of my students and even myself do suffer with quite a lot. And we now have the Artisans Alchemy, where we all kind of work together as a team, and I kind of teach like what I've done over these 8 years of building my handmade business to make a handmade business successful and make sales and get views on it. And we have been seeing so many amazing results in that community, where people have been building their own websites, starting their own Etsy shops, and getting sales for the first time. And here are a few reviews from my students in that program.
You come with the topics, the structures. You come with the like, have you got any questions? Let's talk about your wins. We talk about things that have happened in the week. Like, you give us that space to be able to do that. And I think in a handmade business, when you are on your own,
Yeah,
I think it's so important to have that, because
definitely.
when you don't have that, you feel very isolated. Well, I don't think there's anything out there
Yeah.
like what you've created. It's lovely to hear people's experiences, like the show that she did last week, and then Lynn was talking about her first sales, and
Yeah.
like you just feel like, oh my God, you're cheering everybody else on. I feel so happy for people.
When I'm creating a new product or a new idea, especially if it's like a very brand new idea, I love to look at inspiration. And the main places that I personally look at for this are Pinterest, Instagram, and Etsy. I love to look at these places for inspiration because they have so many amazing creatives on there with just the most beautiful ideas. And I love to take little bits from each kind of artist that inspires me and bring it together into a collection. So for this particular collection that I was launching, Suncatcher Jewelry, mainly Suncatcher necklaces to start with, I was inspired by a lot of these kind of fantasy, whimsical jewelry artists on Instagram mainly. But I didn't just want to do jewelry, because obviously I'm a Suncatcher artist, and I wanted to bring kind of that beautiful kind of aesthetic to my own work. So I thought, well, what if I could do a Suncatcher? Because a lot of the people who kind of see my Suncatchers sometimes think they are jewelry, and the chains that kind of dangle down on the bottom of my Suncatchers always remind me of jewelry. And sometimes I look at them and think, that would make a really nice necklace. And this is what kind of got me thinking, I would love to bring that kind of fantasy, whimsical, I can't even say that word, celestial jewelry to my Suncatchers and make it into a necklace. And this is kind of what gets my ideas going. So it's not about like completely copying somebody else's idea. It's about thinking of your own, like bringing up your own ideas and then looking at inspiration online and then bringing it in and making it into a new idea. And the more you do this as a handmade business, as a small business, the better you get at it, coming up with like more inspirational and better at kind of finding the things that actually will work as well. So I do think that looking at inspiration in your life, you should always be doing that as a handmade artist, but sometimes like actively going online and thinking about, I'm going to just look at this one thing to see what's out there and to see how I could bring that into my own design. Now, another thing that I do is I let my ideas sit for a while because I have so many ideas, and this can happen a lot with people who are ADHD, or if you've got a very busy mind, you can come up with ideas and feel like you need to do every single one. Now, what I think is very good advice if you are like this is to sit with your ideas at least for a month, at least, to see if that's still something that you want to do in a month's time, because then you will really know that, yeah, I think this is something that I've got, and you'll feel more inspired. You'll feel like if you have lots of different ideas and this is the one that is still there within in a month's time, you know that that's the one to pick, rather than like, say I've got lots of different ideas over the next month, maybe that first idea is not something that I want to choose. So I just think sitting with your ideas before you actually act on it is hard, don't get me wrong, because I want to act on it the second an idea comes into my head. And sometimes I do, but a lot of the time, especially when I'm going to be investing a lot of time and money into something, I like to sit with it now. And I've learned that skill of sitting with an idea before I act on it, because acting too early can really sink your funds and your time into something that really probably you didn't want to actually do through to the end, or isn't going to work. So the next thing that I do when I'm thinking, right, I really like this idea, is I ask people about what they think about it, and this gives me a really good indication whether people are going to like this product. And with this, I did that. I went online, I went on Instagram to my followers, I asked my friends, and everybody was saying that is actually a really good idea. Everybody seemed to think, like even my husband was like, that seems like a really good idea. And this gave me much more confidence as well, because if you're going to get people telling you that it's a good idea, that's going to help that imposter syndrome, the self-doubt, to give you the confidence to do it through to the end and not doubt yourself as much. Don't get me wrong, you are going to doubt yourself because that is just natural, but this is going to help you in so many ways. You're going to know that the product is a good product. Don't just ask one person, ask lots of different people. Everyone you can ask about this new product that you're going to do. And also it's going to give people like, oh, she's going to be making this, and it's going to get people interested in your product. Now, the next thing I would do is work on a prototype. If you don't already have materials in your house that kind of could make this product, then look on places that are quite cheap like eBay and Amazon. Don't go straight to wholesale, please. Make a prototype. That's what I did. I made a prototype, and it was just with the findings and the materials that I already had around my house. And I made something that looked really, really nice, and that made me think, right, this is going to work, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I needed to know, like, how was I going to clasp the Suncatcher necklace onto the Suncatcher? Things like that I needed to work out before I looked at products, because even then, like sourcing materials is a big part of this, and it can be quite a hard thing to do, and it's a skill that you kind of need to kind of get better and better at over time. And you do need to test different products. So I do think buying things in smaller batches on something like an eBay or an Amazon first, and then looking at wholesale afterwards, is the best thing. So I made my prototype, I was happy with that, and then I started looking at, personally, I looked at wholesale because I had the budget for that. And I looked on different wholesale jewellery finding websites to find the best kind of pendants and things like that. I looked at the sizes. I really did my research. I knew that I wanted to do the necklace part in gold plating because I've been asked a lot about that in the past. And I was really, really careful about the sizes and things like that, because honestly, there are a lot of things that I do actually get and I do actually purchase when they actually arrive at my house, they're not actually right for the product. And this is, honestly, it is something that does take a while to get good at. And it is something that I also teach in the Artisan's Alchemy, how to kind of look for products and how to search for new materials, because it is a difficult part of handmade business. Then I get into the making part. I love to kind of like, this is the most fun part for me, like starting to make the designs, seeing how they're going to work out, using the new materials that I've bought, and seeing what materials work and don't work, because then you know what you need to buy more of and what you probably do not need to buy more of. And I love to get as much content of this as I possibly can. Now, when I'm just starting out and making something, I like to make it without any kind of distractions of filming. But then when I get into it and I'm making a few different pieces, I love to film the process of me making it so that I can put it on social media afterwards, because getting content on everything that you can in your handmade business is going to help you. Like, film everything. I can't say that enough, especially the making process, because you are a handmade business. And a lot of your customers are coming to you because you are handmade, and showing you making it helps you build that trust with that customer. So yeah, get as much content as you can. And then when you've finally finished kind of making your items, you can show little sneak peeks online, on your stories, things like that. You can ask more questions as you're making it. What do you think of this necklace? What do you think of that necklace? And get people kind of excited to see what it is that you're actually making. Then you want to look at content. Like for me, this was a whole new learning curve, and I've been taking images of handmade goods for a long time now, 8 years, and I'm still learning new things. And taking like images of jewelry is actually quite difficult, because I needed to show it on my neck. I had people saying they'd love to see it worn. I had to show it styled. I had to show it in the sun because it's a sun catcher necklace. I had to show it on the sun catcher. There was a lot of content that I had to get for this, and I didn't actually realise how hard and how difficult getting content for something that's two different things would be. So sometimes I think keeping your products simple, especially in the beginning, is a good idea, because I'm really happy with this idea, but I have a lot of experience in images and taking images and getting content. So taking some images and content of something that was quite difficult like this, I felt like I had a lot of experience in that, and I do kind of like go into how to get good content and stuff in the Art Science Alchemy too in depth. And then as I'm making the products, I go and start doing my marketing. I start talking about the launch date of my product. I start talking about like the product itself, releasing little glimpses to maybe my email list or my stories, and then eventually I'm going to post about it and tell people when I'm going to be launching this new product or new collection. And then the next step is absolutely key, and I really do think that everybody should be doing this. I launch my product and I launch it not perfect. There are still so many things that I want to change, and that I have changed already with this new collection, because it's a completely brand new idea to me. There's so many things already that I am changing about this new collection, and that is absolutely fine. Nothing should be perfect when you first post it. Otherwise, you are never going to get that collection out there. Post unperfect, post scrappy. Like, launch your new product not perfect, because you're gonna learn from actually getting the product out there, getting the feedback, like learning like how these materials are working together, and thinking, right, I don't kind of want them pendants anymore. I want these pendants, or this material, not that material. That's the only way you're gonna learn, is by actually getting the product out there, and you cannot get it perfect before you actually launch. And I already have so many amazing ideas for this collection to take it to the next level, and I cannot wait to share that with you guys in the future. And then the next thing is really, really important. Because this was a new idea, it was Suncatcher Jewelry, I kind of normally do kind of like large pieces like this that get a lot of attention. And Suncatcher Jewelry is quite small, and I did know, and I did think before, it probably won't get as much attention as my larger items, but I know what else would get attention. It would be me making the products. That would get people's eyes on my new launch. So I did that. I did voiceovers talking about my product. I didn't just launch it and then just think, right, I've launched it. And you know what happened when I did launch it? Nobody actually purchased for the first day. And the first kind of, because I launched just to my Patreons in the beginning, and nobody actually purchased in that first day, which really made me worry and think this is not going to work. But then what happened is I kept posting about it. So even somebody like me who has a following, I have an email list, I have all these things, I still cannot just rely on my first post and my first like kind of initial post on a product. I kept posting about it. I had put all this time into this product, all these images, all these content that I'd taken, and I kept posting about it. And what happened? Then the sales started to come in. Then people started to purchase it. And this is what I see so many other handmade businesses do. They post about it once and they think it didn't work. It didn't work. And I've done this myself before. I'm not going to lie. I've posted a new collection and thought it didn't work and then just stopped posting about it. But now I'm very good at not doing that. So I've been posting about this new collection over and over again, and I am getting sales now every single day on this collection. And the first day I posted about it, I didn't, which is just absolutely, I just want you to know that not everybody has a launch and it goes absolutely amazing the first day that they launch. Not everybody has thousands of people on their website waiting to purchase from this new collection. That's not how it works, especially in the beginning. You need to understand that you have to keep posting about that one product, that one collection, because when you initially post, especially when you're brand new and you don't have a large audience, nobody is going to purchase it straight away. It's very, very rare that's going to happen. You have to keep talking about it and launching and bringing new ideas to this new collection, new different content ideas, new different ways to show it online, and that's what's going to get you the views and the sales on your new product. Now, I launched this product in one of the quietest years I've had for a while. With the economy and the way that it is now, things are quieter than usual for most handmade artists. I also launched it in the quietest part of the year, so summer, the beginning of summer, right to the end of summer, I would say, is always the quietest time of year for me. And I launched a brand new collection during this time. Now, why did I do that? I did that because I have the time to do that now. So this is the time when I'm working on new products, new collections, new material, new content. I'm always working on new ideas in this time of year. I will not have the time come autumn, winter and spring, because spring's really also a very busy time for me. So the fact that I'm perfecting my collection now, launching it, perfecting it and getting it ready, because I know that this product, because of how well it's done now, is going to do so much better when it comes to Christmas. It's a very giftable item. And I know from the sales that I've had from the launch that it's going to do amazing at Christmas. Always think when you're in summer, like unless you have a product that is very summer driven, most of us do have less sales in summer. So always keep that in mind. And if you're starting out and you're starting to get sales in summer, just know that there's a very high chance that come Christmas, that's probably going to be times by 4 at least of the amount of sales that you're making when that comes. So be ready for that. And this is the time you should be working on perfecting your items, even your shipping process, things like this, just perfecting your business during the downtimes, during the times when it's quiet. You should be working on products, working on how to get your products out, working on anything that could make your business work better and make more money come the times when people are wanting to buy more products like Christmas. So obviously then after I've launched it, I do work on more and more content. I don't stop making content. I do like to make content all the time and keep that content in my inventory so that I can reuse it in the future. And like I said, then I'm constantly improving my products. And while I'm doing this, I may decide to put on a promotion like a 3 for 2, which I've just done, which did very, very well for me, or a 20% off, or a free item, depending on what you can afford in your business to give away. Now I have a Shopify, so I can afford to kind of give away more, so I can do a 3 for 2. I can do a 20% off, and I can do a free item. Like a free item, I'd say, is the least amount of cost. So like I do like a free Suncatcher, and maybe you could do a free bracelet, something like that, to kind of get more sales on your business. So I do always recommend after you've launched to do an offer at quieter times of the year. And obviously keep collecting that feedback from your customer and seeing what they think about the item, what they would want. Like I posted a question in my group the other day to say, what do you want to see? People were saying turtles, more moons, things like that. They just let me know kind of what they would want to see on the jewellery, and then I know what to look at next and what to get more in of. So I'd love to know about your handmade business. What is it that you make? I never know kind of like who is out there, so I love to ask this question because I love to know who is actually watching these videos. Maybe you've launched a product and this happened to you where you launched it and nothing happened and you hadn't kept talking about the product. I'd love to know what it is that you make in your handmade business. So I know a lot of you will be waiting to find out how much that I actually made in this launch, and I made £1,666 on the weekend that I launched this product, which for this time of year I am actually quite happy with, especially with, like I said, it being a very quiet year for a lot of handmade businesses. And looking at that figure, I know that at Christmas time this is going to do so well. And the good thing about this is the launch did well, but since that launch, it has done so much better, and I've been still selling these products over and over again every single week. Daily sometimes, I'm getting sales on my Suncatcher Jewelry collection. So I'm absolutely over the moon with how that went, and I just know that this is going to be a collection that is going to be staying with Veneer Creations for a while now. And I'm already looking at a few markets or in-person markets to see. I really want to kind of get in-person feedback on these items. So I thought I'm going to do a few in-person markets to see kind of what people think of them in person and what feedback I can get from people face to face, because that is always the best feedback you can get. So I love to bring new items to markets all the time to get an idea of what people think of it. Now, this is everything that we teach in the Artisan's Alchemy. I go through all the groundwork of setting up a handmade business, how to find inspiration, launch a product, and then how to kind of build your website, go into branding, everything that there is to know about building a handmade business, and it's step by step. We also talk in a live chat every single week where we can talk about our problems, and we have a Facebook group where we can talk about everything that we are going through at the moment and any questions that we may have. So if you're interested in chatting about that, it's a no pressure chat and it's completely free. Please book a call down below and I'd love to talk to you about that. So if you've enjoyed this video and you would love to watch many more videos just like this, here are a few that you can watch, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you, bye.